Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Mushoku Tensei, Season 1, Episode 22. Holy shit, Orsted. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Got our asses handed to us.
Yeah, we got ourselves an encounter with another god, and this one being the dragon god, one that we have seen actually before, but now we know who he is, what he's doing, kind of, and that he also is a big enemy of the man god.
Yeah.
Which sets up a very interesting dynamic, given that when we were introduced to the seven great powers way back when, we heard about the dragon god, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And, there was no man god on the list.
There wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sussy Baka. Now, given that this is something that, where Rudeus survived.
Right.
Barely.
He was spared.
Yeah. He was spared, yeah. Nanahoshi seemed to have some other kind of...
Something to say.
Yeah, something to say, but we didn't get to hear that, unfortunately. Right. But, given that, he's alive.
Right.
I want these two to interact again, but I need there to be a reason that makes sense as to why they would actually interact.
Because they did leave after saving him.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But okay. We're fine. We're okay.
Everybody will recover.
Everybody will recover. Yep. This is going to be good. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Okay. Oh, cool.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this isn't happening.
Is this a timeline that could have been?
Maybe.
Shit.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh shit. Wait.
Oh, that would be
what?
terrifying. I mean, it's still a dream.
Yeah,
it's still a dream. But oh my god.
Yeah, that'll
Huh. Yeah. No.
Rudyard's probably used to frightening dreams.
Oh. Yes. Share this info. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Learning Counterspell is essential for any caster. Are they back?
Oh shit, yeah, they might be.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. Oh. I love these kinds of moments and stories where you have like dual versions of the character, one in their mind, kind of reliving the memory through that experience.
And this story actually set up a home that he could come back to.
And there's no home.
Nope.
りは必要ないな。世話になった。
僕は何もしてませんよ。
お前は愚直な俺にいろいろな方法があるのだと教えてくれた。俺は全て覚えているぞ。デッドエンドと聞いて恐れることなく、愉快そうに笑った冒険者の顔を、スペルド族と聞いても認めてくれたドルディア族との距離感を、戦争から400年一歩も前進できなかった。その俺に一歩をくれた。
Yep, 一歩。
実際に俺を救ってくれたのはお前だ、ルーデウス。
Yes.
エリス。
何よ。
お前には才能がある。
Yeah, you're not allowed to leave.
関する者と戦い、その技を受けた。その意味はわかるな。
分かったわ。
よし、いい子だ。
God damn.
I don't want to say goodbye to him.
最後にお前たちを子供扱いするがいいか。
Head pats, yep. No.
Yep.
No.
Ah!
それはルイジルドさんが持っていてください。
いいのか。大切なものなのだろう。
So are
大
you.
切なものだからです。
Yeah.
また会おう。
Please.
Yeah.
言いたいことはたくさんある。
Yeah.
言葉にできないくらいたくさんのことが。また会おう。
Mm-hmm.
そうだ。
Yep.
また会えばいいのだ。
But will we? Who's to say? Well, they did it. They're home. So let's go find Nurse's home.
Oh, yeah.
Gilly! Oh, don't tell me. Oh, yes! Oh!
ルーデウスもよく無事でいてくれた。
Oh.
何よりです、エリス様。ルーデウス殿。
Oh. Oh. Uh,
前置きはいいわ。
yeah. She's grown up.
誰が死んだの？
Yep. Yep.
サウロス様、フィリップ様。
Oh, just
Shit.
everybody.
フィリップ様とヒルダ様は共に転移し、
Oh.
地帯にて亡くなられました。
Oh. So they didn't even get teleported far away, but oh.
おじい様は
転移事件の責任を取らされ、
Yeah,
されました。
yeah. Yeah, we're here to take things in rather than
エリス様を妾として迎え入れたいとピレモンノトス・ブレイラット様がおっしゃっております。
様はあのクズの話に乗るつもりか。
wow.
でも名家です。
そのためにエリスを犠牲にするつもりか。
必要とあらば。
Shit.
エリス、こんな奴の言うことを聞く必要はない。逃げて幸せになる。
領民はどうなさると。
お前が何とかしろ。うるさい。少し一人にさせて。
Rudeus, you stay.
聞こえなかったの。
Oh.
Yeah.
一人にさせて。
Yeah, okay. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah.
それは行方不明のリストだ。
So we
Gotcha.
found some people now. So we can scratch the names off the list. Cool.
シルフィー、まさか。
So we found her.
ないですね。ならば生きてはいるんだろう。どこにいるかは知らんがな。
Yeah, she probably was found somewhere and
Okay.
then just kept moving on, you know.
Yup.
Yeah.
どうぞ。こんばんは、ルーデウス。
Oh.
エリス、
Yeah. If
あ
からどうするんですか。
Oh. Oh.
if I've already been with somebody, then I won't be wanted.
ルーデウス、私一人になっちゃった。それでね、私この間15歳になったの。欲しいものとかありますか。家族よ。
Mm. Mm.
ルーデウス、
Yeah.
私の家族になりなさい。つまりそう、一緒に寝ましょうってことよ。
She's
一体どういうことだ。そうだ。
yeah.
エリスは自暴自棄になっているのかもしれない。そりゃやりたいよ。
Uh-huh.
エリス
Wow, like the dream. Nice.
これって興奮してるってことよね。私が嫌ってわけじゃないのよね。でもダメっていうの。
約束は約束じゃないですか。
お母様から習ったのだけど、恥ずかしいから一回しか言わないわ。私、ルーデウス。
It's so like
Okay.
nice.
Good morning, everyone. おはよう。いい朝だね、諸君。今日から僕も君たちの仲間入りし
Oh my god.
リア充ってやつだね。
I'm a normie.
おっと、もうこんな時間か。起きないといたずらしちゃうぞ。
Yeah.
と、いない。
Whoa.
Oh shit.
今の私とルーデウスでは釣り合いが取れません。旅に出ます。
Shit.
ギレーヌと共に旅立たれました。
どこに？
ルーデウス殿には口外するなと仰せつかっております。
Oh. Wow.
Holy shit.
なんで
He's all
わけが
alone.
わからない。あれなんで振られた。いや、捨てられた。あれ家族。
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, let it out, man. Ugh. Wow. What an episode. Holy shit.
God.
I have no words. I am stunned. Like the fact
too.
that we actually had every single person in the party, and even the person that we reunited with
Yep.
for a brief bit with Ghislaine,
Leave.
leave.
Yeah.
I mean
It's-
the stuff with my
Yeah.
Ruijerd, the stuff like that makes sense because Ruijerd
That's what he
made
promised
a
to do.
promise a long time ago. And this episode was kind of about promises in an
Right.
interesting way, in that, well, they're also no longer children. They're very much basically having their final moments as kids, with Ruijerd
Right.
just giving them the head pats of approval and acknowledgement.
Yep.
And basically, hey, now take your first step on this journey
Right.
as adults without me.
And holy shit, I gotta say, the detail of having Eris reach for his hand after he pats her head.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she just
Like,
wants a family.
Yeah. Well, and it's this episode was an episode that weirdly enough not too much happened from a quantity
Oh yeah,
perspective.
because we had a lot of flashbacks. And
Right,
stuff.
no, yeah, because we had a lot of
montages.
flashbacks and a lot of lingering moments on those things.
Yeah.
But the importance of the things that happened,
Is crazy.
astronomical.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot to unpack here because I feel
Right.
like it's something where the show did such a good job of focusing on the emotions of the characters without it being something where we're
Yeah.
being told the emotions. Right, we're getting to see it through the character animation and things like that.
Yep.
the little pauses, and so much in the same way that Rudeus doesn't know why Eris left entirely, we also don't fully know, right? Like, there's what she says in the letter of, like, you and I aren't well balanced right now. Okay. Yeah. And there's a part of me that wonders if you know, the, like, if the different things that we saw in the episode leading up to that were kind of showcasing it.
Sure.
Because on the one hand, there was the deal, like, in the tent where Rudeus starts to get pissed, and, you know, and he's like, what? And then she's the one who's like, hey, you know, sit down.
Yeah.
And when she needed to cry, she told him to leave then. So that almost feels like even at that point, she had, like, that was maybe when she was really starting to realize it.
Yeah.
And even the fact that she was reaching for Ruijerd's hand, that makes me wonder if that was maybe something of, like, her not wanting to be an adult just yet, like wanting to cling to childhood just a bit longer,
or,
you know,
yeah, like a form of that, because I feel like there's a safety in letting someone else be the one that's able to be the pillar, the one that you can lean on. So therefore, she chooses Ghislaine,
right?
So that she can lean on. She can lean on her,
right?
And that's someone that in some ways is the perfect replacement for Ruijerd, even though it's not a true replacement. It's just the idea of functionally within the family dynamic. It's the older sibling, you know, that's not one that's going to see you in that peerage way, or also in that potentially vulnerable way that you and Rudeus shared,
right? And
by sleeping together.
And
so,
that's
yeah.
And I feel like that's like a lot of the times in real life and in romance stories and stuff, you'll have the period where one of the people needs to basically spend some time away from the person that they like in order to fully be independent, so that way they can be in the relationship in a healthy way, right?
Sure.
And I feel like that could totally be what this is. It doesn't have to be, right? Because it could just be that she decided, you know, like, okay,
yeah,
I don't think we're a good fit. But going away with Ghislaine, you know, I feel like that could be a like you made the connection between Ghislaine and Ruijerd, and, you know, there's no Rudy in that dynamic, and so I feel like that could be a way for Eris to also be able to grow and like, you know, be her own person on her own, because, like, even when they were, like, riding on the horse and stuff, like, we saw a lot of, like, Eris clinging to Rudy, you know, and things like that.
Yeah, I think this is one of those instances of where it's very important, I would say, to not see this entirely from one person's perspective.
Sure.
But from Eris's perspective here, if I'm going to characterize the decision to leave with Ghislaine as much as possible that they give evidence-wise in the episode, I think that on some level she felt a little bit, because the idea that she said we're not balanced, we're well balanced right now. What I think it is that in the moment before they slept together, she would have gladly brought Ghislaine with them, like tried to encourage the three of them to be the new party, basically.
Yeah.
But I think when she slept with Rudeus, she realized her own vulnerability and her own basically the emotions that brought her to that point was a form of weakness to her.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to do that again. So therefore, I need to go and basically I need to get stronger.
Right.
So I'm going to go hang out and go on a journey with the strongest person nearby. Ghislaine, perfect. Also, I've been waiting for Ghislaine to show back up in the story and have her be the one of, wow, you've grown so much. And the thing of, you know, no, but I still have so much more to grow. And
right.
And I'm
beginning
excited.
Of wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't know anything.
Right.
That aspect I want to have happen. So if I remove that still from it, I think this was a moment where she's either, like Rudeus was saying, embarrassed, and that's why she's not here, or maybe feeling a little guilty in
I
that
think so.
she realized that she did almost the same thing that Rudeus did back then, and thus needs to in some ways have that separation.
Right.
Now,
It's
I won't call it entirely a selfish decision, but it's more self-oriented than I think it is any kind of a negative towards Rudy.
the decision to leave, correct?
To leave, yeah. Meaning that it's a decision where I think the understood we in that instance is one where it's a little bit more weighted towards her.
Yeah, and the there are a lot of tough things about this development, but I think the biggest one is the fact that there wasn't much communication on it. And the letter, I get the letter because it's something where, you know...
Still want to say goodbye, you know.
Well, right. And from Eris's perspective, given that we just had the goodbye with Ruijerd, maybe she's not like, I don't know if I could say goodbye, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but this is the substitute for that, yeah.
Exactly. And so the... Like, because the idea of you know, a couple finally gets together and then the next morning there's a letter saying goodbye. That is a very dramatic turn of events, right? Like almost to the point where if you were wanting something to be dramatic just for the sake of drama, you couldn't do much better than that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But there's a lot of very good reasons for why this happened, but as a result of the emotions at play, it ended up being something
Worse.
that was much worse, right?
Much worse, yeah.
Because and this also goes to show how much Eris still needs to grow, because that was all kinds of not fair to Rudy.
All kinds of not fair.
And yes, you could say that the not fair started when she came to his room.
Yes.
Right? Because it totally did. And he even like brings it up of like, hey, why don't we wait? And I love the using that as a way to show how both of them have grown, right?
Yep. God, that was perfect.
But when it comes right down to it,
yeah,
he's like, well, okay, you know, because he also has a lot of growing to do with regards to kind of knowing, I would say, what is good for him.
Well, what he wants.
And what he wants, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, he thinks this will be the thing that it's like, all right, cool, this will be awesome, and then it's like, oh wait, that can really hurt.
Yeah, and in some ways, this is probably one of the things that brings up, in some ways, the struggle that Rudeus must have of being kind of two people in one, in that he is the same person. Like, he is one person, absolutely. But in a non-physical sense, there's an element of him that's still left over from the neat days that basically goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. Isn't this what we wanted? But also, I have all these other years, a dozen years or more, in this life, and no, actually, I actually want to wait. I don't know. I liked the promise. I liked the boundaries and the expectation and all that was set with this, and no, I wasn't ready for this.
And even if it was like a week later, but not under this context, I think it would have gone
slightly
a whole lot better.
Oh, I would have said that it would have been a thing where if they still had sex, it would have gone, a lot better. But I think it would have gone only like slightly better, maybe.
Oh, yeah?
From Rudeus's perspective, because I think Eris would have still potentially left then.
Possibly, and that's one of the things that that from Rudeus's perspective, it's if Eris, it would be easy to think that Eris was potentially testing him, right, or something like that, or to take it back a step further.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
As a result of them sleeping together, Eris left.
Yes.
She probably wouldn't have left if that hadn't happened.
Exactly, yes.
So from Rudeus's perspective, he can totally feel like he failed some potential test.
Exactly, yes.
Because as a result of them sleeping together, she ended up leaving.
Yeah, in his kind of visual novel, brain of times.
He took the bad route.
He took the bad option within her route.
Right.
Meaning that
and
there is a route with her. It's not gone and dead. It's just you basically ended up in a situation where maybe you didn't feel like you had a choice. And that's probably the area where Eris is not immune to that and definitely felt some kind of guilt with regards to it.
Right, because she definitely did pressure him into it.
Yes.
And that's something where then, of course, she's not going to feel great about that. So...
Because she does like Rudy.
Yeah,
she really does like Rudy.
And so if they had... It's their own lack of understanding of themselves that leads to this happening,
and thus her assessment is correct.
Her assessment is correct. Rudy, because he, if now granted, reasonably with where he is and everything, he couldn't have known that, right? No. That he really should have stuck to his guns of his spider sense that maybe this isn't a good idea.
And they might have cried and they might have gotten angry and there might have been yelling.
Sure.
And there might have been a whole bunch of stuff there, but
all
she probably would have stayed at least for the most of the night and maybe the next day.
And even if she did leave, then there would have been a lot more understanding of why she would be leaving. Mm-hmm. And then from Eris's perspective, her emotions are all out of whack with this. And she's probably thinking, like when she goes to Rudy's tent, I get the feeling that she thought that this was going to make things better.
I get the feeling that that's the case too, but I also think that she wasn't thinking.
Sure. Yes. There was not a lot of thought happening.
No. In general, I think this is one of those instances where Eris is 100% accurate in they weren't very balanced at that moment. Mm-hmm. But I think the idea that she might have been thinking that this was going to make things better, maybe on some small level, but I think that this was more of a thing of where when she came into the room and she kind of sat down, she's like, so this is the way things are, right? Yeah. Oh. So then this? Yeah. And he's just giving the little, yeah. But you don't want to do this right now. And then he doesn't say anything. And
right.
from her perspective, I think this is something where, if anything thought-wise went into it, she was like, oh, if I go in here, the mechanics of the way this will work out will go this way. Like, they will go this way. Mm-hmm. Because I know what he wants. I know what he's been doing. I know him. Mm-hmm. So when he shows that he's not necessarily up for this, she gets that little bit of shock of like, come on,
Yeah.
And at that moment, I feel like she basically got that probably logged into her memory, and the next day she relives that moment, and she's like,
fuck.
She's like, shit.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because
shit. Damn it. Okay.
Because So with maybe she thought this could have made things better, there's the context of making it better for her and making it better for Rudeus. If she is already planning on leaving, maybe she's thinking, okay, I don't know when I'll see Rudy again. We had that whole promise. I know he really wants to do that. So as a kind of goodbye, we'll do that before I leave.
Okay, so yeah, if we go for the route that she was planning to leave once she had Rudeus leave the tent, meaning like that was her resolving that she's going to leave, this is her cutting the promise off by saying, we don't have a future together anymore because this is the one thing that is promised between the two of us future-wise.
Exactly.
If I do this now...
I'm not breaking the promise, but I'm ending it early.
I'm nullifying
it.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the examples.
That could be an interpretation.
Right. And then it could also be the thing that maybe she thought it would make her feel better in some way, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? But then, once it's one afterwards, right, she's thinking, oh, shit, right, you know, he didn't really want to do this right now.
Right. And the fact that she chose those words in her letter, I feel like means that there has to be some small element of guilt associated with it. Because the choice of the words for Eris it's way more mature than I would say most Eris kind of assessments are usually.
Although she was being the mature one for the most part throughout this episode, with the reaching for Ruijerd's hand probably being the one difference.
Oh, sure, but I'm not making a point of how she's not. I am making a point that she is a mature person in general.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that when she speaks, when she actually like communicates specifically, she's not usually the mature one. She is literally, of the party of three, she is the one with the least communication skills in general, because one, she's the youngest in the mental sense, experience sense. Yeah. So, two, also, she's probably the one that had the biggest communication problems growing up in general.
Totally.
So that's been a lot of her arc, is getting to that point. So maybe she's grown the most in that area because she started so far behind the starting line for most people. But by her writing a letter, and I think she's the kind of person that probably sought perfection. She painstakingly chose those words because she thought those were the best words she could choose for this here.
Yep.
Meaning, I don't think the words were written as much in a emotional sense of, I'm so sad doing this. It's more he's going to be sad by this, but I need to give him the best kind of understanding so I can actually leave him in a semi-good place.
And yet, she... I would say it was something where it came from that deep sense of feeling. There was a lot of emotion behind it.
Sure. She
was enough in control of her faculties and everything to be able to be very careful with the words. And yet, because it was something that I'm guessing she was so distraught over, she didn't think really about how it would make Rudy feel.
Yes.
Because when it comes right down to it, it's still, we sleep together, and from her perspective... Well, and in actuality, this is the first time Rudy's been with anybody. Same for Eris. And then I leave the next day without saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? Or saying goodbye through a letter. And I don't I don't say that it's something where, now granted, the whole thing of it's not you, it's me, that's a total cliche and everything, right? But I don't know, maybe it isn't a cliche in this world, but if it's something where she needs to work on her, that was not stated in the letter.
Nope.
And so the only thing that, while the idea that she might need to work on her could pass through Rudy's mind, it's not going to stay there long compared to the, oh God, what did I do?
Yep.
This must be my fault, right?
Right.
And so this is also a wonderful way to bring Rudy back to some of the early conflicts that he had at the beginning of the show. This feels very similar to when he was struggling with leaving the house. And he had to he got put on the horse and, told to close his eyes and everything. Because now he's in a situation where he has been pretty much abandoned by everybody, right? In the most heartrending way possible.
Yeah.
And what will he do after that?
Yeah, because there's no guarantee that he'll ever see either of them again.
Exactly.
And the thing I really love about the dramatic impetus of this episode, because I think this part is genius, is that there's actually one being that hasn't abandoned him.
The man god? Yeah.
And think about it.
Sure. Well, and he could be like, well, first off, why didn't you tell me about this stuff since you can see the future to some extent?
Right.
What's going on? But yeah, it could make Rudy way more dependent on the man god. It could make him pissed at the man god. And regardless, if Rudy has gone on this journey of growing so much himself as a result of the wonderful people that were with him, now he is in a situation where he does not have any of those people anymore. And now this will kind of be the truest test of what kind of a person he is now. Because it's just you.
Yep.
So
in some ways, the thing that I'm most excited for is for him to have that moment where he realizes, okay, they're all alive, though. I'm alive.
Yep.
I'm in this new world. My life kind of gets to start again.
Right. Who am I?
Who am I now?
Who am I going to be? What am I going to do?
Right.
Because
when I'm alone here, I don't have to do the same things that I did when I was alone back there.
Because before, he had a bunch of quests and plot lines and stuff to basically keep him on task and focused and distracted, right?
Yep.
Now he doesn't necessarily have those. The man god could always give him something, right? But if it doesn't, there you go.
You know what this makes me think of?
The world is your oyster or nightmare.
Yeah, true. You know what this makes me think of is Gamer Void, where you basically finish a video game, but you're not ready for the finishing of the game, basically.
Right.
And you're like, wait, shit. You're telling me I have to replay the game all over again in order to get a better ending?
I know I'm going to have that kind of effect when this season is over.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, shit, no, I don't want this thing. And it's like, no, this is Dark Souls. You don't have saved game files. You can just save scum until you get the better ending. This is it. Now just keep going. And it's like, fuck, no, reload, save. I want to go.
Yeah, put that hand back on my head.
I want to go back. I want to be born out of Zenith again. Like, let's redo this. I in some ways actually want him to come at the man god pissed, and it just to be a thing of where he's like, hey, you're Mr. Future Sight, right? You're Mr.
Why the fuck didn't you tell me?
Yeah. What is this?
Yeah.
What is this? You really
want
to help me? You really want to be my patron or what have you? Then you didn't give me anything about any of this?
Yeah, they don't have some Orsted curse. What the fuck happened? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
In some ways, I actually would love the reveal that actually they do. And they maybe have something like, they cannot walk this earth, like this plane. Like, I would love for this to be the thing of where it's the reveal of like, oh, no, I wanted this to happen. Like the man god be like,
oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, and you'll never see them again.
Well,
just like, yeah.
One of the things...
Welcome.
Right.
You are now going to be my apostle.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, this is kind of the perfect emotional cliffhanger void ending for Rudeus.
But we get another episode.
And here's the thing. Well, it's possible that episode could be like him finding Zenith or something, or Sylphie, or totally. And sort of like that starting of the new chapter, and I think there could definitely be a small segment of it that is that.
Sure.
We can't really start any big, like, plot things or whatever moving forward, and this was pretty solid resolution to a lot of character plot lines, for one.
Yeah.
And so now, given that we don't have much other than the man god as the obvious stuff for the next episode, I really feel like that is that'll be it. That'll be a very large portion of it, if not in screen time, certainly in the importance and magnitude and scale of what happens in the next episode.
For sure. You
but,
know what's interesting?
What?
What's interesting? We kind of, like, if you think about how many people, like, Rudeus bumped into, it's actually kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, the fact that he actually encountered so many people that he knew, but then he didn't encounter, like Roxy, for instance.
Right. Yep.
Like,
yeah, it's
almost like it's this thing of where this is like a really fucked up hero's journey kind of thing.
Oh.
Where it's you went through all this stuff, you grew, everything's like wonderful, and now you come back to the start and you have no one to give your boon to. All this stuff that you gained along the way is just for you.
Well, and that's
it's sad.
But exactly. That's
in some ways, that's actually in some ways one of the best things we could have gotten for Rudy, the guy who was reincarnated.
Yep.
He actually did need this.
Yep.
But the fact that it happened with this bleak of an end for this, like, chapter, if you will. is gotta be like the biggest
yeah.
dick punch, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
The writing on this show never ceases to astound me on a micro and macro level, because like there's all the details and like in like little bits of like character, like
Sure.
just, specifics that I love so much, like Eris reaching for Ruijerd's hand, right?
Yeah.
But then there's things like the fact that this is kind of Hero's journey. He returns home and realizes he's changed. He's not the person that he was back then. Like this feels like a strange land now.
Yep.
But then on top of that, he is at his lowest point here.
Yep.
That is similar to the kind of low point that he came from. What will he do now? Right? This could...
A despairing person could relapse all the way back and have all this be nothing, basically.
Yep.
Or he could find something to basically rewrite the hero's journey side of this and basically say, no, this is just the darkest night of the soul. This is the point in the middle part of the hero's journey where you didn't actually come back home.
Right.
This is not home.
Yeah. Conflict-wise, he did the thing. He's back home.
Went and left you and is now in many different parts of the world right now.
Right.
So you have to go build now a home to bring them back to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On a technical conflict sense, he came back to his literal home.
Yeah.
On an emotional character conflict sense, he is in the middle. He is at that dark night of the soul, in the abyss, all of that stuff. The thing is, he does have the boon, like the stuff that the memories that you shared with them are not gone, right? In the same way that you were able to have this wonderful goodbye with Ruijerd, you could turn this situation with Eris into something that has a similarly positive effect,
right?
Even though you will need to overcome this crazy thing that you now have to deal with. So
I just love the idea also that in some ways we were set up for this by having every single person that he had the narrative convenience to bump into in order to say hello again. They quickly said goodbye to him after they resolved the short little aspects of their engagement, which is a fun, almost like Jaws. Well, almost like Jaws level, like da dun da dun da dun. There's a cadence of like goodbye, 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 and then once he gets to the last two, it's like
it's goodbye,
bam, bam, and it's over, and you're like, shit, that was 2 days.
That was one hell of a 1-2 punch.
Like what?
And also one of the things that I love about how that's set up is that one of the biggest issues that I could see a story like this falling into that it has masterfully avoided is you set up all these wonderful characters that are each interesting and engaging, and we get emotionally attached to them, and then suddenly you have a cast that's too big.
Too big, yeah.
Intimate casts, small casts, you can tell much stronger character stories because it takes less time. If you have an episode to focus on your adventuring party and it's 3 people, you can get a lot more ground covered than if it's 12 people, right?
Yep, that's very true. Yep.
And all along this show, we've brought people in, we've gotten attached to them, Rudy's gotten attached to them, and then they've gone their separate ways. They might see each other again, that's fine. They are out there in the world, right? But they're not here now.
Right.
And so the story that we tell can continue to be this small-scale, very intimate character journey, right? And who knows where it'll take us. We got a sense of foundation and stability with Ruijerd and Eris after, everything that happened, right? But now it's a time for that to go too, right? And, like, it fits so well for the character of Rudy and him needing to then be able to function on his own, while at the same time handling the meta story potential complications of we can't just have it be a cast of 12. That would be impossible.
Around the world,
right? That'd be ridiculous. That'd be way too much.
Why do they all just suddenly not have any desire for their own goals, dreams, and motivations because they're with the party? So suddenly the main character's motivations are the only ones that matter.
Right.
It's really, really exciting to have a world where, in some ways, they kind of teased us, or at least I felt teased, that we were getting the D&D party. We were getting the
did get that for a long time.
And it was kind of that. But the idea that what held them together primarily were two promises. And those promises were ended. this episode at the same time, effectively.
Yep.
So having that narrative convenience, if you will, in that Rudeus could have seen this coming. But in some ways, both he and Eris did not want to see it coming.
Sure.
So maybe, to bring this all the way back to Eris' decision, the fact of how they handled Ruijerd's leaving being another potential foreshadowing that she would say something like, we're not well balanced right now. She's using the understood we to kind of also lean more so about herself, because she's probably more just trying to build a connection point rather than saying like, hey, Rudeus, you're not well balanced right now. She's more saying, hey, we just went through a lot of shit right now. And she was not ready to say goodbye to Ruijerd.
Nope.
Not at all.
And she wasn't ready to say goodbye to Rudy.
And she wasn't ready to say goodbye to her family, that she believed at least one of them would be alive by the time she came back.
Sure. And this is something where I with how this is done, I'm very excited to see when they meet back up. Not soon necessarily.
Could be years.
Could be years. Because there is going to be a lot of hurt there. And that is a conversation that I am interested to see how it ends up getting handled, especially when each of them individually has grown even more and gotten a lot more mature and everything.
I could see it also being a thing of where they actually like would be so excited to just see the other person that the hurt actually might be more of a thing of where, no, I dealt with that, over the last 6 months or so.
Right, like, they would have the time to let the hurt heal and everything. But, the idea that the other person still did that as a result of their immaturity, right?
Sure.
Because yes, Eris deciding that she needs to leave, very mature decision. How she left and how she told Rudy,
not mature.
Showing that she still had a long way to go, right?
Yeah.
So, better than leaving without a note, but still, just a fucking note,
Yeah. Imagine if she had left with no note. What would Rudy have done? What would Rudy's have done? Like, I think he would have gone to the guy and been like, "Where is she?" And she's like, "Well, he went on an adventure with Ghislaine, and he said not to tell you where she went."
Yep.
It's like, why? And it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think it would have gone a lot worse.
A lot worse. Yeah.
Because here at least there's some closure, even if it's some closure, even if it's not all of the closure. But now Rudy has the situation where he has to. At the beginning of the story, he was forced to start over, and it was a wonderful opportunity that he got.
Yeah.
Now he has to choose to start over.
Yep. Because he could do multiple kinds of starting over.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be super crazy if it was revealed basically that, like, what? The dragon god did the reincarnation? No. Why'd you believe that? You saw me first. And then he just yeets him back to the real world.
I thought for a second that was going to happen.
That was potentially going to happen.
When he was having
he did
the
that
vision.
in the dream. Yeah. I thought about that too, and I'm like, wait a minute. What if this was a thing of where, no, you did everything you needed. I needed you to do. So now go back.
And then it ends up being him as an otaku needing to like figure out
how do I go back?
Occult magic and like how do I?
I mean that could be crazy. Yeah,
that would be ridiculous.
It also could be a thing where Orsted was actually foreshadowing this as well. Of like, no, Paul and Zenith, they don't have a son.
Oh jeez, yeah.
And it's the thing of where it's like, hey, you were never meant to be a part of this world. And that's the thing, he's like, I've looked into the future and I've seen like the kids grown up with like their own kids and families and stuff, and he's like, no, there was never a son.
If this show does end at some point with him waking back up after being operated on and they actually like saved him, and then it's now, can you figured out how to make it work over there?
Sure.
Can you make it work over here?
I think honestly that could absolutely happen, but I think that's going to happen when like Rudeus is like 30 years old.
Oh no, totally. You already became
lived a
kings and
whole
queens
other
in
life.
Narnia. The story is done, and that would be how it's like potentially
that would
ended.
be the biggest fuck you to the audience to basically say,
yes.
nah, he's going to go back and we're gonna just not touch upon these characters for a while. But it could be interesting. I mean, we'll see. Next episode is gonna explain a lot. So yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.